Hello friends, Scott Little here, doing a live video on my professional Facebook page. And the reason I'm doing it is because I can't take an additional take. I've been trying to record some videos for a project that I'm working on, a 30-day program called Your Great Life Game Plan, where we say the secret to a great life is to figure out how to have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year, and just repeat that over and over again. We talk about your relationships with everything from yourself to your family, your spouse, your kids, your boss, your employees, your friends, God, and then abstract things like time and food and exercise and things of that nature. We talk about habits. We say Tom Ziglar says that the fastest way to success is to replace a bad habit with a good habit. And really, if we can improve our habits as it relates to our relationships, and we can improve our mindset as it relates to everything, then we can have a great day. Anyway, I've been working on a video on nutrition, and after about 50 takes, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take this to my Facebook Live, where I can't do takes, where I can just talk and share what I want to share. And if it doesn't go well, then so be it. I'll erase it and nobody will be the wiser. In fact, who's listening to me anyway? So here's the deal. In my chiropractic practice, it's limited to chiropractic. I feel like the best way of using chiropractic is to go on a weekly basis. And my patients enjoy a low monthly fee that they pay to be able to come in and with their entire family on a weekly basis. And it's a busy practice. So we only have time to adjust spines and nervous systems in my chiropractic practice. And yet, I know that chiropractic is just one piece of a wellness puzzle. Also, forgiveness is important for a wellness lifestyle. Sleep, nutrition, time management, there's exercise. There's a lot of different things that go into a healthy lifestyle. Chiropractic is a major one, because the objective of chiropractic is to eliminate the effects of stress on the nervous system so that the brain and mind can express life and health through the tissues and organs and systems of the body optimally. So chiropractic is hugely important in a wellness lifestyle. And that's why I think that people should go every week. But you know, there's one thing that you do every single day that has a huge impact on your overall health and quality of life, and it's the food that you eat. You know, we all have to eat, but what you eat, when you eat, how often you eat, all of the nutrition probably plays more of a role in your overall health and quality of life than just about anything else that you have. So your relationship with food is paramount to a healthy life. Now, you eat what you eat for any number of reasons. You've studied nutrition and you've adopted a lifestyle and an eating plan, and it's either serving you or it's not serving you. Or you just eat based on your compulsive and addictive behaviors on what tastes good, and if that's the case, then more than likely you're overweight, you're fat, you're obese, because what the food industry knows is that if they can add sugar and other preservatives and additives and things into the food, they can get you addicted to it, and you're not necessarily craving food that is ideal for you. You maybe eat food that your grandmother ate and your mother ate, and you eat based on how you were brought up. If I were, of course, I have adopted, or we primarily eat avocado mayonnaise now, and I think that's healthier than regular Hellmann's mayonnaise. But if you went to my refrigerator at any given time, you'd probably find a jar of Hellmann's mayonnaise in my refrigerator. You would never find Miracle Whip. Same would be true if you went to my mother's refrigerator, my aunt's refrigerator, my uncle's refrigerator, because Grandma used Hellmann's. Grandma was not a Miracle Whip gal. And so our taste buds develops in such a way that we all do we do Hellmann's. Largely, what we eat is determined by what we were taught to eat through what our parents and grandparents ate. But if you are truly proactive about adopting an eating plan that is right for you, that will promote optimal health and quality of life, then I would suggest that a trip to Barnes & Noble to seek out a book to read, to adopt a lifestyle, is about the most worthless endeavor that you could even possibly do. There are 100 books in the nutrition and diet section at Barnes & Noble, and no two of them agree on anything. You've got paleo, you've got keto, you've got Atkins, you've got veganism, you've got vegetarianism, you've got books on fasting, books on fermented foods. There's all these different ways to health, and it's hard to know what you are supposed to eat. Hey, Jesse's on board. How you doing, buddy? I miss you. Hope things are going well in Indiana and you're getting some snow. We're getting some snow here in Colorado. That's much needed. Thanks for staying on. Hey, what I want to talk about, after about 23 years of studying nutrition and all the different fads and diet plans and so forth that are out there, I find one consistency in all of them, and that is that they all would recommend eliminating sugar and refined foods. And I would contend that whether you are a vegetarian or a vegan, or you're paleo or Atkins or whatever, no diet is suggesting that you eat tons of sugar, refined foods, etc. And when I say refined foods, basically I'm talking about packaged foods, processed foods, man-made foods, things of that nature. I contend that you should be eating food. And now we have to define what food is. Karen and I are students of addiction and recovery. And in addiction, we say that there's such a thing as a food addiction. There's drug and alcohol addiction, there's work addiction, there's gambling addiction, there's sex addiction. There are various addictions, but one of those addictions is oftentimes said to be food. And while I don't want to be disrespectful for people who can't stop eating and make poor choices when they're under stress and would label themselves as food addicts, I want to be very sensitive and respectful here, but I'm going to say there's no such thing as a food addiction. Now, what's that mean? If I put a few carrots in front of you, if I put a bag of carrots in front of you, you're going to eat carrots until you get sick? No. Apples? No. Kale? No. Cheese? No. Scrambled eggs? No. There are foods, and then I would argue there are drugs in food form. So people who are addicted to food, and I would say that I have an unhealthy relationship with sugar and refined foods. If I went to the store right now and got a box of Pop-Tarts, there's 6 of them in there, and I would eat all 6. If Karen made a plate of brownies, she would eat 1 brownie, and I would eat the entire thing. I'd get up several times in the night and just pick off a piece and think, just this little piece isn't going to hurt. But when in the morning I wake up and half the plate is gone. If I'm craving food, I'm craving pizza, I'm craving pasta, I'm typically craving breads and grains and sugars and refined foods. I'm not craving meats and fats and vegetables and things like that. So again, not to show any disrespect for anyone who would label themselves as being a food addict. That's a very serious thing and probably has a huge impact on our overall health and well-being, and is the cause of the majority of our health problems, including things like anxiety and depression, other ADD, other brain-related conditions, but also in digestion disorders, cardiovascular disorders, diabetes, heart disease. The majority of our health problems are related to our relationship with food. And if we're eating tons and tons and tons of sugar and carbohydrates and refined foods, then we're going to get sick because it inflames our body. And the root cause of the majority of all of our health problems is inflammation. If we can reduce inflammation, then we can take great strides towards improving our health. So what I want to kind of conclude with is, what should you be eating? Which diet plan is the best? And I will say this about that. Dating back for hundreds of years, I believe that the healthiest way of eating is to really watch your sugar and your refined foods. You know, they say 100 years ago, our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, etc., probably only consumed a grand total of about 9 grams of sugar. Hey, Jesse just joined, and I want to do a shout out to him because he's been making some great choices in his diet and nutrition in the last several months. And I don't know whether he's lost 30 pounds or what. I kind of watch when he posts on his scale pictures, but there's a guy I really appreciate and love, and he's making some great strides. I got 2 Jessies on. Jesse from Indiana, my friend from back in Indiana, and Jesse, my friend from here in Colorado. But congratulations to you, Jesse Owens, for making such great choices and being so dedicated to those to going on a low carb diet. So anyway, that's the story. People historically ate way too much sugar, and over the years, the food industry has learned that they can put sugar into all the foods that we eat, and it causes huge health problems. That's why we've got so much diabetes and cardiovascular disease. I will tell you this about cholesterol. Your cholesterol is high if it's high because of the sugar you eat and not the cholesterol you eat. In this case, you are not what you eat. You could eat scrambled eggs cooked in butter and cream and cheese with bacon all day, every day, and your cholesterol would normalize. It would not go up. But it's the orange juice, it's the toast, it's the cereal that you eat for breakfast that is the major offender that creates inflammation in the body. And if there's anything that you need to eliminate, it's sugar, grains, and refined foods, not foods that we tend to associate with cholesterol, like eggs and bacon, olives, butter, foods that are high in cholesterol and fat. Indeed, you are not fat because you eat fat. You are fat because you eat foods that are high in sugar, grains, cholesterol. You know, we have this faulty idea that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Who ever said that? Who promoted that but the cereal industry? And as the cereal industry has evolved over the years, it has become nothing but refined sugar and refined carbohydrate that inflames the body. They strip the grains of all of the vitamins and minerals, and then they fortify it by putting in synthetic vitamins. There is no box of cereal that you should ever be eating for breakfast. And I would contend that breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. Now, you break down the word breakfast and it means break fast. And we have adopted a lifestyle of intermittent fasting, or what I like to call intermittent eating, because if you tell somebody to fast, then that just sounds like deprivation, and you're starving yourself, and you're robbing yourself of what you should be doing, and that is fueling the body. It's actually not the case at all. Hey, Ron, I just noticed you were on. I don't know if you can notice the background on my mantle, but I've got my awards from Lost Valley. I've got, let me turn my head. See that white coffee mug there? Has the Lost Valley brand on it. Our house here is dedicated to our love and passion for Lost Valley Ranch. I bet I'd find the same thing in your house as well. Anyway, back to food and breakfast. Somebody was talking about the other day, you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And I would say that that is just not true. For many, many years, I've adopted a habit of intermittent fasting, whereby I have consumed nothing but black coffee or water in the morning till at least noon or 1 o'clock. It's currently 2 o'clock. Haven't eaten anything today. May be able to just do one meal a day. And that has successfully allowed me to go from about 170 pounds down to 140 pounds. I gained 9 pounds over the holidays by making unwise decisions uh, eating way too much sugar and carbohydrates and not exercising and thinking that it wasn't making an impact and gained 9 pounds. But the bottom line is that your optimal health and quality of life is going to be predicated on what you eat, when you eat, how often you eat. And I would argue that as I study nutrition from the leading medical doctors, people that I consider to be objective and are studying the cutting edge research and science, and not just the what's it called, the party line in the medical field. Doctors like Dr. Jason Fung, who, if you have a chance, follow Dr. Fung on YouTube. He's an Asian doctor, a nephrologist, a kidney doctor up in Toronto, who is a big-time advocate of, and this is for people with type 2 diabetes. His patients are primarily type 2 diabetics, but I believe that if you follow what the diet and lifestyle that a type 2 diabetic should follow to reverse their diabetes, not manage their diabetes, but reverse their diabetes, that you'll indeed lose weight and experience a greater quality of life and health. Dr. Fung, F-U-N-G, is somebody who you should follow on YouTube. He's a leading advocate of intermittent fasting and a low carbohydrate, high fat diet, which I believe that everyone should adopt some level of, whether it's very, very strict or some modified version. So what I usually share with people is that calories are a worthless thing to measure. You do not need to measure and monitor your caloric intake nearly as much as you need to monitor your carbohydrate intake. I don't think that you need to measure how many grams of healthy fat that you consume. I don't think you need to monitor how much butter you're eating or olives that you're eating, eggs that you're eating. If you're not lactose intolerant and you can eat dairy, then I don't think you need to worry about cheese and things like that, because it's kind of self-limiting. You know, you're not going to go, you might go have a spoonful of coconut oil, but you're not going to go have spoonful after spoonful after spoonful of coconut oil. And the problem with butter is, what do you put it on? So you need to find ways of eating healthy fats that don't involve carbohydrates. I think that the healthy level of carbohydrates in a day's time should never exceed 50. German researchers indicated that if we go over 75 grams of carbohydrate, that we automatically start developing endocrine issues, blood sugar issues, pancreas issues, hormonal issues. We should never consume more than 75 grams of carbohydrate. And if you look at the average American breakfast, most of us, or most people, are consuming over 100 grams of carbohydrate just in the breakfast they eat. That's including the orange juice that they drink and the toast that they consume, the bowl of cereal, etc. And the problem with breakfast, largely, I would argue it's the worst meal of the day, because here's what happens. You eat a lot of fat and a lot of sugar in most people's breakfast. Your body burns sugar first, and if the body doesn't use all of the sugar, then the sugar starts getting stored as fat, and if any of the fat that you ate gets stored as fat. If you only eat fat, then your body burns through all the sugar and in your liver, and it serves as a super source of fuel. That's what ketosis is. When your body is, or when your brain is burning, your brain and body are burning fats for fuel, that's called ketosis, and that's actually, if it's done properly, a very healthy state to be in. Where people used to say ketosis is bad is when you were in ketosis, and you shouldn't have been in ketosis because you were eating carbohydrates and so forth, and it was an unhealthy state. But if you're not eating carbohydrates, then your body's going to be burning fat, and that's a good thing. I would say, to keep it very, very simple, you should only monitor your carbohydrates, and you should probably be sticking to around 20 to 30 maximum in a day. If you eat a sandwich with 2 slices of bread, you probably got 20 right there. So that doesn't give you very much. You can eat 30 or 40 and maybe up to 50 if you're at your ideal weight. But if you're really trying to eat healthy and normalize your blood sugar, your cholesterol, your body chemistry, reduce inflammation, etc., I would contend that you should probably try to stay under 20, 25, 30, up to 35 or 40 grams of carbohydrate in a day. And so that probably means you ought to get an app or do some Google searches or get some charts or something to see what it is that you're eating and how many grams of carbohydrate you're consuming. A banana has 27, so that's a day's worth of sugar right there in a banana. Some people that are counting their carbs will subtract out the fiber. You can subtract out the fiber if you want to, but if you're really serious about it, you may not want to subtract out the fiber. A banana doesn't have much fiber, so you're getting a lot of sugar. An apple has about 25 grams of carbohydrate, but a lot of fiber. And so there's a lot of sugar in an apple that does not get absorbed. I think that the bottom line is really watching it and monitoring it and determining how much carbohydrate that you are consuming in a day and really monitoring that. So whether you call it keto or you call it low carb, high fat, and for people that are still sensitive to the idea that fat, you are what you eat, and if you eat fat, you get fat, which is an absolute outright myth. Whether it's low carb, high, healthy fat, I think that's the healthiest way to eat. And I think Dr. Jason Fung is somebody who you can look to as a good resource. He's got a book, The Obesity Code, The Diabetes Code, The Complete Guide to Intermittent Fasting. He's got another book coming out at the end of February. I can't remember what it's about. But going into 2019, if you are in a situation where you want to lose weight, you want to get your cholesterol under control, you want to get your inflammation under control, you want to get your blood sugar and blood pressure under control, I contend that you should embark on a journey and investigate a keto diet, a low-carb, high-healthy fat diet, and go to YouTube and recognize the number of medical doctors and PhDs that are promoting this as a healthy lifestyle. In my opinion, the one thing that's consistent in all of the diets that are out there is a commitment to getting rid of sugar and refined foods and replacing that with whole foods. And I would contend with that you cannot eat too many vegetables, that you really cannot eat too much good fat. And I'm going to just define that as butter, not margarine, not I cannot believe it's not butter, not some sort of not some sort of processed thing, but good healthy butter, eggs, bacon, cheese, almond butters, avocados. Do a Pinterest search and look at the healthy forms of fat and recognize you can eat as much of that as you want. I'd control your moderate amount of protein. Make sure your protein servings are about the size of the palm of your hand, and you can't eat too much protein, but focus on lots of green vegetables and healthy fats, moderate to minimal amounts of fruit. And you're in the right ballpark. Well, hey, I'm gonna get off of here. Thank you so much, Jesse and Ron and Brad and Keenan and Stacy, for all of you for joining this. I hope that 2019 is a great year for you. I would love to be your chiropractor if you're in Teller County or Park County, and I'd love to serve you in that way. I sure miss you, Jesse Evans in Indiana. But hey, there's one thing that you could do in 2019 starting today to improve your overall health and quality of life, and that is to be very, very proactive and disciplined in the food that you eat. And again, I would contend that you need not be counting calories, but you do need to be counting carbohydrates and eliminate sugar and refined foods. If I can help you in any way, just let me know, and reach out here on Facebook. And have a great day to my friends here in Teller and Park County. Enjoy the snow. We desperately need it. And have a great day, everybody.